Hey, it's Coach 2K with Coach2K.com, and in this video I wanted to talk about sliders a little bit and what slider set I recommend that you use. And if you're not familiar with where sliders are, in the gameplay settings, you're going to see some options here for simulation sliders, casual sliders, custom, and default. You can see I've got mine set to simulation there. Basically, you can go into these sliders, and for example, you could change 3-point success from 47 all the way up to 100, and that means you really wouldn't miss any threes. So the game used to come shipped on default sliders. We set this back here, and default sliders basically it's just everything is 50. So there's really nothing adjusted there. But when you go to like simulation sliders, you'll see that inside shot success has been reduced to 40, and so it's close. So right away you can see that's going to be a little bit harder than basically every shot being equally as difficult. So you could see right off the bat there that simulation sliders would be a little bit more difficult than default. Now you can also play on casual, so you can see that things are easier than they would be on default. So between the three of these sets, casual is easiest, then default, then simulation. So a lot of times people think, oh well, simulation sliders will give you simulation results in the statistics, when that's not necessarily the case. But of the three, I recommend that you play on simulation sliders because that will give you more closely realistic gameplay than the other two might. So statistics, the end result in a box score is really the result of game style that you use more so than simulation. So I can sometimes shoot 70%, 80% in a quarter in a game or whatever. That's more related to difficulty than it is to the slider set, at least in my opinion. So I recommend that you go with simulation against everybody that you play. So if you're playing users in the play with friends section, or you're playing leagues, I always suggest you go with the simulation sliders. And here's the reason, is because then it's like you're always playing every court with the goal 10 feet, the free throw 15 feet, the floor 94 feet in length. You know what you're going to get across every single game that you play users. Now in our league, we've adjusted some of the things like fouls, and I guess that's okay. But the problem is that since everybody has a different play style and everybody uses different teams, I don't think you can use a global slider set to control how an individual team would do. That would be more of an individual team thing that you would have to adjust. So with regards to just actually setting a global slider set, I recommend the simulation. Now there is a fourth set, and that's custom, where you can go in, like I was saying in our league, the fouls have been changed a little bit, that a lot of times people want to go in here and just tweak these to their playstyle, and then they want to like promote their slider set working for everybody. When sliders are extremely personal in nature, I guess, because one slider set that might be really good for one person might not necessarily be good for somebody else. I know I've used people's sliders and they are like, hey, these are the greatest sliders, and then for example, I can recognize that I'm really open on 3-point shots and I can kill the CPU from 3. So the other thing about custom sliders is the game will come out and people will go, hey, I got my new slider set. And I think determining a slider set base has to have a lot more data than just right out of the gate knowing, oh, we're going to change this with no data. And 2K has the most data of all of us to pick a slider set, and right or wrong, I go with the slider set that's out of the box because I want the court to be the same every single time that I play. Um, so anyway, again, the 4 slider sets are custom, default, simulation, and casual. And of those, if you're going to play, I would just recommend that you play simulation 24/7, especially if you're going to be playing users all the time. So, you got any questions about sliders, put them in the comments below. And I'm Coach 2K, and I will see you on the court.